Hello again, everybody. David Clary here at Bobby Hopkins Field, where we have just seen the Oak Ridge High School Wildcats defeat the Pal Panthers by a final score of 10-4 in the district championship losers bracket game. The Wildcats, with the victory, advance to the championship game here in a few moments here against the Central Bobcats, a team we played earlier in this tournament and lost 5-3 here at Bobby Hopkins Field. But the good news is, ladies and gentlemen, and obviously you want to win the championship, the Wildcats will have to beat Central twice to win the district championship. But the silver lining of the PAL ball game is the Wildcats, with that win, are in the Region 2 tournament for the first time since 2011. They will be joined by the Central Bobcats, the team they're playing tonight, the Hardin Valley Hawks, and the Farragut Admirals. Those are the four teams. It's a double elimination tournament, something they have never done before. It's always been single elimination at the region. And congratulations to the Wildcats going to the regional tournament. They haven't won a regional tournament since 1993, but let's not put the cart in front of the horse. We've got a district championship to try to win. The Wildcats were the regular season champions. They knocked off Central, and well, actually split with Central during the regular season and lost the other night in the district tournament. So they have to beat them twice, but the Wildcats, regardless of what happens in this ball game or the second ball game, if they lose, hopefully not, the Wildcats are in the region tournament. Joey Weston joins us here. Joey, big win for the Wildcats. A rain-shortened game yesterday, suspended until today. The Wildcats put two more on the board after leading 8-0. Saw Powell score 4 runs to make it close, but Mikey Teasley shut the door down on the Panthers, eliminating Powell, and Oak Ridge is headed to the region, and we've got a title game just moments away.
That's right, Oak Ridge, not a great game for them today. They lost a little bit of their momentum, got 2 runs their first inning back, just weren't able to put up as many runs in these last couple of innings. On the defensive side, Powell put up 4 runs against them today. They had, I believe it was 8-0 yesterday, so Powell came back. They started to fight a little bit, but Oak Ridge shut them down.
While we have a moment, why don't you run down the starting lineups for the ball game?
Leading things off tonight for Central is Nick Royerden, number 2. Batting second, Andrew Hill at shortstop. Batting third, Trey Lyons at first base. Batting fourth, Sammy Myers at third base. Batting fifth, Jack Good at second. Batting sixth and DHing tonight, Jack Royerden. He's going to be DHing for Jackson Bowers at catcher. Batting seventh, Cole Wessel. He's on the mound tonight for the Central. Batting eighth, Kalen Chesney in left field. And batting ninth in center field, Waylon Perry. And for your Wildcats, leading things off, per usual, Caden Black at shortstop. Batting second, Mikey Teasley at third base. Batting third, Tyler Pickens at first base. Batting fourth in center field, Richie Ferreira. Batting fifth, Eddie Tan. He'll be DHing for John Ulrich tonight, who's on the mound. Batting sixth, Jacob Franklin in left field. Batting seventh, Camden Welch in right field. Batting eighth, Kyron Welch at catcher. And batting ninth, Jason Slay at second base.
Lineups are being introduced down on the field. The Bobcats wearing their predominantly black jerseys with red numerals and a little white outline and their pinstripes. The Wildcats playing in their second game of the day. And, one of the things that I think probably goes unnoticed here, I think, for Oak Ridge fans, the Wildcats are going to start, I guess, John Ulrich in the ballgame today. Wildcats are a little short on pitching. Alex Franklin would have been expected to pitch a little bit in this tournament. He went down. He's still able to bat and play, but pitching is such a commodity when you get to tournament play. The Wildcats just had enough pitching. Great start by Cameron Welch in the first 3 innings of the PAL ball game yesterday to put the Wildcats in position. He left with a shutout, an 8-0 shutout. Then Mikey Teasley, although his control was a little bit off, he pitched well and shut them down after that little surge of runs for the PAL Panthers. But pitching is out of commodity, and we just hope to get a really good effort tonight out of John Ulrich.
Yeah, that's right. We know Oak Ridge has good pitching. I mean, Tyler Pickens, Mikey Teasley, a freshman, and Camden Welch, as we said, went up 8-0, held the Powell Panthers to 0 yesterday. So, 2 freshmen, very solid for the team. And they're going to be good later on. But tonight we're seeing John Ulrich face off against Central. It's a big game for him, as you know the Wildcats are heading into the championship here. Like we said, they have to beat Central twice to become the champions of the district.
One thing that's kind of scary is I look at the clouds. We had such a beautiful day for the PAL game, but it's clouding up. But I was talking to Jeff Ulrich, the father of the starting pitcher today. He was saying that yesterday that it was dark as night when the clouds rolled in. It's not dark like that, but the clouds are definitely threatening. Hopefully we can get through this one and win a championship.
That's right. We kind of saw how the weather affected the Wildcats. I mean, they were on a roll yesterday, up 8-0. Today, they lost a little bit of their momentum, was still able to put up a couple runs, and they still came out with the win, which was huge.
Two teams are lining up. As I said, Central lining up on the first base side. The Wildcat starters are being introduced and heading out to the field, and we're just moments away from this ball game, the Wildcats and the Central Bobcats. And I know I was joking with Joey before. Joey was born in the 2000s. I was joking with him about the great series of Oak Ridge baseball with the Central Bobcats back in the 90s when Todd Helton, the great Colorado Rocky, and Tennessee baseballer, was a part of that. And we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, throughout the course of the game. Now we're about to have our national anthem here from Bobby Hopkins Field.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars the rule the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
It's our national anthem here from Bobby Hopkins Field, and we are just about set here. The Wildcats and the Central Bobcats, as I mentioned, they split during the regular season. The Wildcats falling at Central High School. The Wildcats a come-from-behind win. You might remember a walk-off hit, I think by Caden Black, if I remember correctly, in the Central game in the regular season. And really that loss by Central gave Oak Ridge the championship. I think they went on to lose one more game in the district, and the Wildcats won the district championship outright. Central obviously in the driver's seat by beating Oak Ridge on Saturday. It's tough to beat a team twice to win a championship, but the Wildcats have done that before against the Central Bobcats back in the 90s, as I was talking about. Obviously, those guys were a great team. That's the winningest team in Oak Ridge history, 25 wins on the regular season. The Wildcats, with their win over Powell, have won 21 ball games, so creeping towards that 25.
Yeah, that's right. And against these Central Bobcats, it's been close every game they've played. I mean, it's really back and forth. But what I really have taken away from this Central team is they like to bunt. They like to move guys around, put them in scoring position. So hopefully Oak Ridge acknowledges that and, tries to shut that down.
Nick Reardon, the leadoff man for the Central Bobcats, and we're about to get this district championship ball game underway from Bobby Hopkins. John Ulrich, the junior Wildcat, on the hill for the Wildcats. Here's the first pitch of the game, hit to center field. Richie Ferreira in on it, makes the catch. One pitch, one out, and a good start for the Wildcats.
Yeah, nice start for the Wildcats. Nice contact there by their leadoff man. Richie was able to come in really quick and make a good play. Batting now is Andrew Hill, the shortstop.
Yeah, we've seen Andrew Hill. If you remember the game at Central, he hit one a ton. Remember, way up on that hill, and he's just a good player, good pitcher for them. He pitched the other day in the win over Oak Ridge. He did not get the win, but he was in that game. That pitch is a called strike. One thing that we've noticed, I guess the last start that John had, and John told me this before the ball game, he's most concerned about his control. First two pitches have been dead center. Let's see if he can get the breaking pitch over, and he does. And the count is 0-2.
That's right, good start for John. I mean, we've seen 3 pitches so far, 3 strikes for him. So good start.
I'll set the defense for the Wildcats in a moment. One out here, nobody aboard. District 3 championship ball game from Bobby Hopkins Field. Ulrich to the plate, little outside, and the count is 1-2. The third baseman for the Wildcats is the freshman Mikey Teasley. The shortstop is the junior Caden Black. The senior Jason Slay is at second base. Tyler Pickens, the senior, is at first. I'll check the outfield in a moment. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Inside corner. Go sit down, young man. That is strike 3 and out number 2 here in the first inning.
Nice start for John with a strikeout. Batting now is Trey Lyons, the first baseman for the Bobcats.
I'd like to welcome all our Central fans who are watching today on our YouTube channel, along with we've got some Farragut and Hardin Valley fans as well watching our broadcast on YouTube. We are most definitely biased towards the Oak Ridge Wildcats. We broadcast the Oak Ridge games, so don't get offended if I tend to kind of slant in that direction. I will give your team credit when you make a play, but I will definitely give Oak Ridge a little bit more enthusiasm with my voice when they make a play.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we're never going to hate on anybody, you know. Good plays on both sides of the field, so we always acknowledge that.
One strike the count. John trying to get him 1-2-3 in the top of the first inning. Here's the pitch to the plate, breaking pitch. Oh, man, look good from here. Might have been a little bit low. And the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike.
John is on so far. Great pitching. I mean, the last time I saw him was against Maryville. It's a good team, you know, really good offensive team. So that was actually the last time I saw John pitch myself.
Breaking pitch hit in the right field softly for a base hit. Hit the opposite way. Actually, Jason Slay, the second baseman, was kind of a little shading a little bit more towards the bag at second base against the right-handed hitter, and he just hit it in a perfect spot, and that's the first hit of the ball game.
Batting now is Sammy Myers, the third baseman. Nice hit by Trey Lyons to get on first for the Bobcats.
Middle of the 10th inning, Farragut has just hit a 2-run home run to take a 7-4 lead over Hardin Valley in their championship. Very similar to this game, Farragut has to beat Hardin Valley twice to win the District 4 championship. Runner thought about going, did not, and I guess that's a ball. 1 ball, no strikes to count.
Yeah, I really thought that was a strike. That was a great pitch by John. I mean, that's been called a strike a couple times this game, actually.
1 ball, no strikes. Runner at first. 2 outs here, top of the first inning. Oak Ridge and Central, first perhaps of 2 District 3 championship ball games from Bobby Hopkins. The second one will be played tomorrow. Here's a runner caught between the bags, and here comes the throw. He waited just too long to throw it. Hesitated just a bit. The runner broke towards second, stopped. Kyron probably should have gone ahead and thrown down to second, but hesitated, and they've got a stolen base.
Yeah, a little hesitant by Kyron there. I don't know. He may have thought the runner was going back to first. It's just a tough judgment there.
Kind of a different outfield for the Wildcats. We'll set that for you in a moment. Kyron Welch is the catcher. Pitch is on the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Who's playing left? Is that Jacob?
Yeah.
Who's in the outfield consists of Jacob Franklin in left, Richie Ferreira in Richie Ferreira in center, and Cam Welch is in right field, and Kyron Welch is the catcher. 2 balls and 1 strike. The pitch, breaking pitch, high and in. So well, I thought it was a breaking pitch. Fastball inside. 2 balls, 3 balls and 1 strike. Wildcats had that runner dead to rights. If Kyron throws it, just didn't want to make a mistake. 3 balls and 1 strike, no score. Just underway here, Bobby Hopkins. Very cloudy, overcast, gloomy day now. Breaking pitch hit on the ground, third base side. Mikey Teasley fields, throws, out number 3. So the 2-out single comes to nothing. They strand him at second base. We go to the bottom half of the first inning here at Bobby Hopkins Field. It's Oak Ridge and Central scoreless, and we'll be back on our YouTube channel in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. We go to the bottom half of the first inning. The Wildcats, Caden Black leading things off. If you hits the first pitch foul off to the left side and out of play. In the Maryville ball game, I think that would be a home run there, Joey.
Oh, I will never forget that call. That was probably one of the worst I've ever seen.
No balls and 1 strike. If you just tuned in to our broadcast here, Oak Ridge has defeated Powell today. That pitch is ripped right up the middle. That's a solid base hit for Caden Black. Off the pitcher's glove, slowed it down just a bit, but he hit the ball so hard. A solid single for Caden and a great start for the Wildcats. Batter now will be the third baseman, Mikey Teasley. Mikey Teasley does step in for the Wildcats. He finished the ball game. If, like I said just right before we had to turn off our mics because of Coach Branson's music, was the fact that as the pitch comes in, down low, Wildcats with their victory over the Pal Panthers have qualified for the Region 2 baseball tournament. They'll play either Hardin Valley or Farragut. I believe it starts on Friday, the tournament does. But they're playing for a championship tonight and probably tomorrow as well, hopefully. Pitches down low a ball, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, speaking of Farragut and Hardin Valley, those are 2 very good teams. I mean, a really good district all around. So that kind of competition is going to be something a little bit new to the Wildcats. This district is, I mean, it's a really a good district, but the Farragut and Hardin Valley teams, that's something the Wildcats haven't really seen.
Just kind of wondering, Joey, who do you think that Eddie and Tyler want to play?
Definitely Hardin Valley. 2 people who came over from Hardin Valley, actually. So I'd love to see that.
One ball, one strike. Good lead for Caden at first. Wessels checks the runner. He's a lefty. Hard to steal on, but he is going to steal. Here's the throw, and he is in there easily with a stolen base. Caden Black is in scoring position. Good lead. Caden is such a good base stealer. I mean, he measured the left-hander, and you, Joey, you played ball. You know it's hard to steal against a lefty because you don't know if he's coming over to the bag or if he's coming to the plate. Good steal there by Caden.
Yeah, great jump. I mean, he is a speed demon, so it does make it a little bit easier for him. And like you said, on those lefties, the Wildcats have struggled a little bit on them. Got thrown out a couple times, and a couple pickoff plays have been on the Wildcats on a lot of those lefty pitchers.
Yeah, in the first game today, the suspended ball game, the Wildcats made a few base running mistakes. You can't do that in championship ball games. I know Coach Free probably emphasized that for the game. Here's the 3-1 pitch on the inside corner at the knees, and Mikey Teasley has a full count. District 3 most valuable player, the player of the year, Tyler Pickens on deck for the Wildcats. As Oak Ridge and Central are playing here at Bobby Hopkins in front of some dark clouds. No rain. We've got a great crowd. We've had a great crowd all day. The first ball game was just packed here at Bobby Hopkins. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Wessels checks the runner at second and comes to the plate. Cut on a miss, and that's a swinging strikeout, and that is out number 1 here in the first inning.
Batting now is Tyler Pickens, the first baseman for Oak Ridge.
First baseman, number 2, Tyler Pickens.
For our new viewers, we turn off the mics when the music goes so YouTube doesn't drop us. So it isn't your computer or your television. We are turning off our mics. As Tyler steps in, pickoff play, almost threw it into center field. Just a nice grab there by the shortstop.
Yeah, and Oak Ridge saw a lot of those pickoff plays last game. We weren't broadcasting, but I have never seen it so many times. I mean, the pitcher tried the pickoff play at least 8 times in a row. And that was definitely something to see.
Tyler stands in. We've got 1 out here in the first. Runner in scoring position, Caden Black, a leadoff single. The pitch to Tyler is bounced at the plate, and round to third will go Caden Black, and he takes a nice little turn around the bag at third. So he's even closer to the first run scoring in the first inning. And Tyler swung at it, and I think it bounced in front of the plate.
Yeah, nice setup for the Wildcats, though, as Kane takes that base. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tyler. And we know he's a contact hitter. He can get that ball out and play. So good opportunities for Wildcats here. See what they can do.
1 out here in the first inning. The Oak Ridge dugout making noise. Left-handed Wessels comes to the plate. Hit foul. Out of play over to the right side. And Wessels ahead in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sophomore Richie Ferreira is on deck for the Wildcats. Had a couple big hits in the first half of the PAL ball game played yesterday. No balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Hit in the air, foul. Off to the left side, into the stands, and over the top of them, out of play. Just missing Becky and Ronnie Hayes, who are sitting in the stands, and the count remains at 0-2.
Richie Ferreira, the sophomore, up on deck, like we said. You know, he's a good hitter, but what I really notice about him is his defensive field work. I mean, he really is a great center fielder. You really never see him out of his position. They never really take him out, so he's a solid guy in his position.
0-2 pitch, cut on and foul tipped into the mid, and Tyler Pickens is out number 2. So it's going to take either some mistake by the Central Bobcats or a base hit by the left-handed Richie Ferreira to get that first run in. John Ulrich started the ball game for the Wildcats. He gave up a single. He left him stranded at second, and Wessels trying to strand this guy at third, Caden Black at third. Ferreira stands in. As I mentioned, he's a left-hander. Pitch is hit foul again over the top of the bleachers to our left. A moment ago when Tyler hit the foul, it was very close to dropping into the stands, and you could hear the murmur of the crowd long after the ball had dropped harmlessly to the ground. Kind of a fear factor and relief. Here's the pitch. Richie swings Foul tips it, and the count is 0-2. So after giving up a leadoff hit, Joey, Wessels has really settled down and has looked really good.
Yeah, he definitely has 2 strikeouts so far this inning, actually 2 in a row on Mikey Teasley and Tyler Pickens, possibly 2 of the best hitters on Oak Ridge.
0-2 pitch hit on the ground to the first baseman, who makes a nice play and runs and steps on the bag for out number 3. Leadoff single for Caden Black, and they leave him stranded. We go to the second inning here at Bobby Hopkins Field. Oak Ridge and Central remain scoreless in the District 3 championship ballgame. We'd like to thank the Oak Ridge Booster Club for paying our rights fee, to the TSSAA, who, you know, they want all the money they can get, and they actually made people leave the game after the PAL ball game and leave and then come back in and pay again for the championship ball game. And a lot of people did that. The PAL fans didn't leave right away, but they were heading back to PAL anyway. As the Wildcats and Central Bobcats are scoreless, we'll be back with the second inning in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. Appreciate everybody watching on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. I know we have some other people other than just Oak Ridge fans watching today. The Central Athletic Director asked me if it was okay if he shared the link, and we're perfectly fine to include our friends from Central High School watching. I told Joey, and I've talked about this a lot. When you're old, you've seen a lot of stuff. And I've seen a lot of great Oak Ridge Central ball games, especially in those 90s. As Ulrich has missed on the first 2 pitches to start this inning. 2 balls and no strikes.
This is Jack Good, the second baseman for the Bobcats.
2 balls, no strikes. Ulrich comes to the plate. This one's low and inside, and it's 3 balls and no strikes. 1991, the Wildcats beat the Bobcats twice to win the district championship, much like they really need to do today, and like Farragut's trying to do over Hardin Valley over in District 4. Here's the 3-0 pitch. That's a little bit high. That's a leadoff walk and a good start for the Bobcats. And if you remember, Joey, Central was the bunt team of the century when we saw them the first time at Shumpert Park.
That's right. We saw a lot of bunting from them at their field. They came back to our field the next day, and we didn't see as much. So we're thinking maybe they like that field. Maybe that field is better for their bunting.
Well, I kind of thought the grass was high, and that really helps the ball to die up the line there. And just good strategy as the first pitch is a called strike. And nice pitch there by the junior John Ulrich.
Up to bat for the Bobcats is Jack Reardon, the DH. He will be DHing for Jackson Bowser tonight, who's at catcher.
I've been meaning to ask John, here's the strike pitch, and he's going to be a throw down a second. They've got him with ease. Stolen base attempt out by a mile as the Wildcats, Kyron Welch, easily throws out the base runner. I mean, he was out by 10 feet.
Yeah, he definitely was. You could see that coming. He was about halfway down the baseline, and Kyron just let that one rip. Good throw. Great play by the Wildcats there all around.
And that is out number 1. What I was going to say right before the stolen base attempt is I keep meaning to ask John where I see the major leaguers do it when they go to talk to the manager or the pitching coach, but John always puts his glove over his face, primarily his mouth. I'm not even going to mention it now. I just found out where he got it from. Jacob DeGrom, the former Met, who are 7 games behind the Braves currently, as the pitch is cut on and foul tipped, and that is a strikeout, and that is out number 2 here in the second. But just all jokes aside, let me turn off my mic. Well, actually, you know,
Stepping in now,
that's what he does. So I guess Jacob DeGrom, I honestly, I've seen him pitch a lot, and he's now, I guess, pitches for the Rangers, I believe. And he just covers his face with the glove.
Yeah, I like it. You know, he looks good out there. Yeah, I like what he's doing.
I gave a shot fired to the Mets, but I don't think Jeff heard me actually. But as the count is 0-1 or 1-0.
Batting now is Cole Wessel, the pitcher for the Bobcats. Been doing well on the mound, actually. He's at, I believe, 2 strikeouts tonight.
2 outs here in the second inning of a scoreless ball game. Oak Ridge and Central. Pitches hit foul and out of play. I mean, you know, if it's just perfect, if it just barely gets over that net, we could have damage to the camera. But nothing like the ball that almost hit Coach Branson when we were at Campbell County. Remember that one?
Oh, I surely remember that one up on the rooftop.
He had full confidence. He didn't see it coming. Here's the pitch hit on the ground, foul. Count is 1-2. Coach Branson says that he had full confidence that it wasn't going to hit him. We were, I don't know, not hoping that it would hit him, but it would have caused some excitement because that game was like 25-2 at the point. 1 ball, 2 strikes. John Ulrich to the plate, low it inside, evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. There's nobody aboard. You know, back in the day when I was playing, of course, that's the dark ages, but we did not have a tarp. But this field, after the rain yesterday, looks great. I mean, you put the tarp down the infield, just a little wet as that pitch floats outside, and Rick says it's outside, and count is full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Caught the corner, but called a ball. You can hear the Oak Ridge fans not too happy with the home plate umpire. Here's a 3-2 pitch, hit foul to the left side and out of play. Ball was hit on a line there, Joey, but foul.
Yeah, it was. I was praying that one went foul, and it did. Took a little curve to the left there, but you know, after a great pitch there by John, that really would have been devastating if it ended up foul. Not a lot of, it wouldn't have been a lot of happy parents. I'll tell you
The
that.
lights have been turned on here at Bobby Hopkins. Not only is it getting dark because the sun's going down, it's also getting dark because of the dark clouds as well that are hovering over the Science City. 3 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Nobody aboard the pitch. Right down the middle, strike 3 called, and that is out number 3. John Ulrich records the strikeout. We go to the bottom half of the second inning of the District 3 championship ball game at Bobby Hopkins Field in Oak Ridge. The Wildcats and Bobcats are scoreless. Wildcats knocked off Powell 10-4 in a suspended game from yesterday to advance to the Region 2 tournament and this championship ball game. The Central Bobcats defeated Oak Ridge to advance in the earlier game Saturday. They also knocked off, were able to get to the winner's bracket of the championship and get to this game, and they've just been waiting for the opponent. We'll be back with the bottom of the second in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. We go to the bottom of the second inning. 0-0 our score. Wessels against Eddie Tan. The first pitch to him is a ball. I was talking to Coach Branson earlier, I thought in the first game against Powell, at least in the part that I saw, that Eddie hit the ball about as hard as we've seen him hit the ball all season. Had nothing to show for it. A lot of it was foul, but he just hit the ball on a line really hard, and that's a good sign.
That's right. He's a guy that swings hard. I mean, he really does. That he hit one, it kind of in the left gap. The center fielder was able to get over there, but I mean, it really was ripped. I mean, that ball.
That pitch is cut on a miss, and Wessels has it going after the leadoff hit by Caden. He has been tough, as I said earlier. See what Eddie can do. 1 ball, 2 strikes. No score here. Nobody on, nobody out. Pitch to Eddie is a breaking pitch, hit foul off the dirt area around the home plate, and it's foul, and the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Nice job staying in that count for Eddie there. It was a tough pitch. I mean, it had a lot of movement. Was able to put it foul and live another day.
1-2 pitch, cut on a miss. That was out of the strike zone. Eddie took a hack at it and missed it, and that is the first out in the inning. Batter now for the Wildcats is Jacob Franklin. You know, Jacob really had a really good game in the Powell ball game. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Pitch is high and inside. 1 ball and no strikes. The second game of the day for the Wildcats. They will, if the Wildcats are able to win this ball game, as here's the second pitch, the ball is hit foul and out of play. They won't play the second game tonight. I guess they will play it tomorrow, and I didn't hear the time on the game. I would assume somewhere around 5:30 or 6, but the Wildcats have to win. Central hopes to win the title tonight in this ball game. Here's the pitch, outside corner but low. Let's see what Rick says the count is. It is 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 out here at Bobby Hopkins, Central and Oak Ridge District 3 championship game. Pitches hit foul again. Back our way and out of play. One thing I want to comment about is the crowd size. I mean, in the Powell ball game before, it was packed. Here in this ball game, still packed. And, you know, students got in for free, and there was free pizza, but there was a lot of community people have come out as well, and it's always fun. You know, you all have played sports in your life. It's always better when you've got a crowd, and I know the guys are happy when their peers are out here, the high school students.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this town's really a big football city, but seeing a lot of people come out to these baseball games is awesome. And that ball is grounded to first base. Trey Lyons, first baseman, makes the play. That'll be out number 2.
And the batter now will be the freshman Cameron Welch. Camden Welch stands in for the Wildcats, lefty versus lefty. Here's the pitch. Freshman takes it low and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. His brother, Kyron Welch, is on deck for the Wildcats, but Cam needs to get on base somehow. 1-0 pitch, a little bit low. 2 balls and no strikes. Love seeing the crowd on hand here. The bathroom, they finally got the water working at the bathrooms. It only took like a month and a half to get that going, but now people can use fresh water instead of those porta potty things. As that pitch is inside, Central fans thought it was a strike. You can see the catcher not too happy about it as well. He kind of looks back at the home plate umpire. 3 balls, no strikes. The Wildcats trying to pick up a 2-out base runner, and on that pitch they won't. That pitch is on the outside corner at the knees for a called strike.
Something I've noticed with this umpire is it's a lot more smaller strike zone.
There's a base hit by Cam. The shortstop tried to time his jump. The ball was a soft line drive, and it just barely got over his glove. He was waiting and tried to time it, and it's another base hit for the freshman.
Yeah, great job by Camden Welch to get on base there for the Wildcats.
Second hit off of Wessels in the ball game. 2-out hit for Camden. His brother Kyron Batting now, junior catcher for the Wildcats. Not great speed at first. First pitch is high and inside. 1 ball, no strikes. So why don't you introduce our new camera guy here, Mr. Joey Weston.
This is Nathan Tobler, senior at Oak Ridge High School.
Former Wildcat baseballer as
Yep.
well.
Used to be on JV together.
Glad to have him in the booth. That pitch is a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. We want to give everybody credit, you know. He's a Braves fan, so, I mean, that makes him, you know, likable for sure. Before we even met him, actually. 1 ball, 1 strike. Welch takes his lead off of first. Welch back in the box. 1 ball, 1 strike to him. The pitch. Called strike at the knees. And the count is 1-2. Kyron really hit the ball well the other day. Had a couple of base hits. And I believe it was the Central ball game the first time we played him here at the tournament. This is for the championship. Let's see if he can move his brother along. He will not. That's a swinging strikeout, and that is out number 3. So we've played 2 complete innings here at Bobby Hopkins Field at the District 3 baseball tournament. The Wildcats and the Bobcats scoreless. We go to the top of the 3rd. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. We go to the 3rd inning. We got a scoreless ball game. A lot of these early ball games have been really low-scoring affairs. The Carnes game comes to mind. He squares to bunt, does number 7. I remember him getting a perfect bunt at Central the first time we played him. He swings and he misses. Mikey came charging in, but he missed the pitch, and it's 0-1.
I do remember that as well. It was a little odd. I believe that's when they substituted the player out.
During the at-bat.
During the at-bat.
Yeah, and he got a perfect bunt down. He squared the bunt there. He's not a big guy. Bats from the left side. The 0-1 pitch, cut on a miss. What's his name again?
This is Kalen Chesney, the left fielder.
Number 7. Hitting from the left side. He falls behind. No balls and 2 strikes. Nobody aboard, nobody out. Central batting in the 3rd. Those 90s ball games, I keep going back to the past. I live in the past. That's what you're going to say, right, Joey? Let me tell you, the Wildcats in 91 won 25 ball games, most ever for an Oak Ridge baseball team. And their biggest nemesis in the 90s, there's a swinging strikeout. And what number is that for John Ulrich?
That is his 4th strikeout of the game and 3rd in a row.
You know, I go back to those games. The Central Bobcats back in the day, I'd love to. Well, anyway, they had 3 players on those teams that played professional baseball, including Bubba Trammell. He played for the Padres, the Yankees. Todd Helton, you know, about 500 home runs for the Rockies. I mean, he was a great player, and Chris Freeman was a pitcher. Bobby Moe played for us, Chip Hughley, And the great Sean Summers was on that team, got drafted by the Marlins, went on to play football at the University of Tennessee, started every single game except one in his career at UT in football. But that was just a great team. I mean, there were so many talented players on that 91 team. The 90, 91, 92 team. 93 team was pretty good too. Beat Central for the title, won the region championship, and we had some great battles. We had some great battles in football against them back in the time of Todd Helton. State semifinals game. Pitch is cut on, and did he swing? They asked for help. Looked like he did, but first base umpire says he did not. Here in the tournament, you might notice, Joey, they're working with 3 umpires as opposed to the usual 2.
Yeah, no, that's great for the players, especially. We've seen a couple questionable calls by umpires in previous games.
Are we going back to that Maryville foul ball home run?
I will always go back to that game. That was really unacceptable. Horrible call. So it's good they have 3 umpires now.
John looking for his 5th strikeout of the ball game. He's got a 2-ball, 2-strike count, 1 out. Kyron sets up outside. The pitch hit on the ground. Shortstop Caden Black backhands it, fires on the first, in time, out number 2. John Ulrich pitching great so far in this one, Joey.
Yeah, he really is. He's kept the Wildcats in this game. He's at 4 strikeouts so far, and he has only allowed a single. So great job by John. Has a good defense to back him up. I'm excited to see what he can do tonight.
This is the District 3 title ball game. If you're just tuning us in on our YouTube channel, we broadcast the Oak Ridge ball game, so I know we have some people from other schools interested in the outcome of this ball game. I guess in particular Hardin Valley and Farragut fans, they want to know who they might be playing. Of course, Farragut's got to beat Hardin Valley twice to win the title. Farragut always seems to do that. Nothing against Hardin Valley. Hardin Valley's got a great program too. I mean, obviously a great program. They've had a lot of success this year, but Farragut just seems to always get hot at the right time, and this is the time you want to be hot.
That's right. Really good baseball school. Always have been a really athletic school. So props to them.
We had about 5 or 6 firemen here at the game just a moment ago, and now they all left in a parade, and I kind of see why, because there goes a fire truck leaving with the siren on. So hopefully that's not your house, Joey.
Let's hope not.
Yeah. 1 ball, no strikes to count.
This is the leadoff hitter, Nick Reardon. He is playing in center field tonight.
Hits one foul off to the left side. Once again over the top of the Oak Ridge fans to the left. If you look at this team, the Central team, and I mean no disrespect at all. If you look at this Central team, they don't have the biggest guys, but they do things so well. Like the fundamentals, they bunt the ball well. They have great at bats. They field the ball real well. They don't look like, a great physical team, but they do so many things well.
Yeah, I would like to add on coaching as well. Coaching for them is huge. I mean, we saw at their field when we played them last, they brought in those 2 guys, like we said earlier, substitute mid at bat, and they ended up getting the job done. It was really successful.
Yeah, I'd never really seen that. 2-1 pitch, breaking pitch stays outside, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike. Central has had a base runner, I believe, in every inning, and the Wildcats too, but nobody has been able to dent the scoreboard to this point. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody aboard for the Bobcats. Leadoff man for Central. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Hit on the ground, foul. Up the first base line. Wildcats, the win over the Pal Panthers. The Wildcats were leading 8-0 as they got to the field here because the game was suspended yesterday. They put 2 on the board. Pal scored 4, and the Wildcats won, and that qualified them for the region tournament. I've been mentioning that as John comes to the plate. That one's outside, and that's ball 4. Wildcats have not been to a region tournament since 2011, and they lost that. It was a single elimination game. Then this is going to be a double elimination tournament for the first time. They got beat by Maryville 7-0 in that game. I'll run down some of the players who played in that last region game in 2011. John trying to get out of trouble here. He's been quite good to this point. We're in the 3rd inning in a scoreless ball game. Breaking pitch, hit foul, back to the screen. Another good breaking pitch, and the count is 0-1.
Batting now is Andrew Hill, the shortstop for the Bobcats. Struck out last at bat.
He was the guy. He's not only a good pitcher. We saw him just hit that mammoth home run at Tommy Shumpert Park way back. I guess that could have even been in March, I believe, when we first started, a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that field is not super short either. And that ball is popped up. Jason Slay calls for the ball, makes the play, and that'll end the inning for the Wildcats.
And that is out number 3. So John Ulrich cruising through the first 3 innings. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning at the District 3 championship ball game. Oak Ridge and Central are scoreless. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Bobby Hopkins Field, bottom of the 3rd inning. Jason Slay leads things off. The first pitch to him is a ball. And we're underway in the 3rd. Both pitchers pitching well. I mentioned the last time the Wildcats went to the region was all the way back in 2011. We've had some pretty good teams. Second pitch is in there for a called strike. See if you remember some of these games. Leading things off in that game was Jordan Lane. Jake McLaughlin played. Thomas Cox, my friend, batted 3rd in that game. That pitch is low and inside. Chavez Golden, great player there. Matt McDaniel, I got a chance almost to play at UT. Stephen May, along with Brady Hull. Now a dentist is going to open up a practice here in Oak Ridge. That pitch is a ball outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Mikey Craig, Ralph O'Neill, and Elliot Norman batted 9th in that one. Elliot was a good football player. 3 balls, 1 strike to Jason Slay. Pitch. There's a called strike. Some notables looking at the bench players. Sitting on the bench in that game was the future Boston Red Sox draftee Kevin Steen, sitting on the bench that day. But he was a freshman, so that's why.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I had no clue, actually.
Yeah. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Jason Slay will be followed in the Oak Ridge order by Caden Black, who led the ball game for the Wildcats off with a single. Pitch is hit on the ground. Second base side, it's going to be bang, bang. He boots it, but throws in time to retire Jason Slay. Kind of an excuse me, half swing, probably a pitch out of the strike zone, but didn't want to get called out. And a nice play and a nice recovery by the second baseman for the Bobcats.
Number 11,
Caden stands in. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game. Singled. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. Caden stole a base as well. Got over to 3rd, but was stranded. That was back in the 1st inning. Pitch is hit in the right field. 2 for 2 is the Speedy Jr. And the Wild, he's going to take it to second. Here comes the throw. He hustles his way for a double. Never stop. Never stop. Caden Black just kept on rolling all the way in scoring position. really, I can't really fault the way the Central Bobcats actually fielded that play. They did it with hustle, but never in their wildest dreams did they think Caden Black was going to keep on going to second. So the Wildcats have a runner in scoring position. What a play there, Joey, by Caden Black.
Wow, the IQ that, I mean, his baseball IQ is on a different level.
That is a good way to describe it. I mean, he really hardly hesitated. He hit first base. He looked where the ball was. And, you know, any normal human being is thrown out at second, but not Caden Black, and he's in scoring position with one out.
That speed is just insane. I mean, like, just being able to get all the way over there and beat out that throw is awesome.
Ball is hit in the air, center field, shallow center field. The center fielder in, the shortstop out. That's going to be an out, and that's the second out of the inning. Wildcats have got to get some production from that number 2 slot in the lineup. Now it's down to Tyler Pickens, who was a strikeout victim, I believe, back in the first inning. You talk about some respect, Joey Weston. Tyler Pickens has been walked intentionally, and the Wildcats will have him at first and second. No shocker there. He has done so well as the District Player of the Year. Richie Ferreira stands in for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge with runners at first and second. There's 2 outs. Richie stands in, lefty versus lefty here. Runners are going. Pitch is hit foul. Out of play, and the count is 0-1.
Yeah, talking about that intentional walk, that is a lot of respect. I mean, even after striking out in the first inning, they still decided to walk him. I mean, they know how much of a powerful hitter he is.
Richie stands back in. 0 for 1 in the ball game. Caden Black, the lead runner. Tyler Pickens, the runner at first. Scoreless game, bottom of the third inning here in the District 3 championship game. Wessels checks the runners. The pitch hit to the left side to the shortstop on the line. He makes the catch for out number 3. Wildcats pick up a couple of base runners. They leave them stranded. We go to the top of the 4th inning at the District 3 championship ball game here at Bobby Hopkins Field in Oak Ridge. The Wildcats and the Bobcats remain scoreless. My name is David Clary, and we'll be back on our YouTube channel in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins. That was Aiden Hawkins dancing for you there in between innings. He is the son of the principal at Oak Ridge High School, Drayton Hawkins, in attendance here. John Lorg begins his 4th inning of work, and the first pitch is a breaking pitch that stays outside.
Leading things off for the Bobcats this inning is Trey Lyons, the first baseman. Had a nice single his last at-bat and stole second after that.
Both of these teams will be be playing in the region tournament starting this weekend. That pitch hits him in the, well, I'm not sure. It might have hit him in the wrist. I thought it first got him in the ribs, but he's okay. Went down to the dirt for a second. Hopefully he'll be all right. John didn't obviously mean to do that, and that's a good start for the Central Bobcats.
Yeah, that one looked like it hurt. I think it got him in the ribs, maybe. That's what it looked like he was kind of holding on to when he fell to the ground. Hope he's all right.
He's trying to walk it off a little bit. He's still in a lot of pain. His coach is talking with him, and I think it might have hit him in the wrist, actually. Well, and
yeah, I think you're right.
he's okay. He'll stay in the ball game, so good job for him. Like I said, obviously,
Now for the Bobcats,
John Ulrich, our pitcher, didn't mean to hit him.
number 1, the third baseman, Sammy Myers.
Here comes the next batter for the Bobcats.
This is Sammy Myers, the third baseman. Grounded out his first attempt.
Where are we in their lineup, Joey?
This is their number 4 batter.
So the cleanup man as they take a pretty good size lead at first. We're in the 4th inning, top of the 4th, a scoreless ball game, Oak Ridge and Central. Tyler Pickens holds the runner on. The junior right-hander, Ulrich, comes to the plate. They squared a bunt. Pitch is a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. As we talked about, even their number 4 hitter in their lineup just squared the bunt right there. So that kind of tells you about how they like to play. And we saw that as we talked about a couple innings ago, how they play at Central, how they just are try to get production out any way they can and produce runs.
Yeah, that's right. And they're really good at butting as well. I mean, it's not just attempting it. And that ball is overthrown. Trey Lyons will take second, looking at third. Tyler Pickens picks up the ball.
So the Bobcats have a runner in scoring position now with nobody out on the throwing error. And now it's up to getting the next 3 outs and try to hold him at second base if you're a Wildcat fan. If you're Central, see if they try to keep the bunt on here and try to move him over to third. In a game like this, where runs seem to be coming at a premium, see if they squared a bunt here. He's their number 4 hitter. I would be surprised. But you never know with Central, as we've found out. He gets tired of waiting on Ulrich, and now Kyron, the catcher, and John Ulrich will get together between the home plate area and the mound. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Got a good turnout of fans here, a lot of students, a lot of community. Middle school baseball team in attendance here. It's great to see. Just a fun day at the ballpark. We saw the Wildcats eliminate Powell, and if you're anything an Oak Ridge fan in any sport, eliminating Powell is always a good thing. Runner takes his lead off of second. 1 ball, no strikes. Timeout is asked for once again by the batter.
Yeah, and like you said, I would be very surprised if they don't try to lay down a bunt here. Tyler Pickens is coming in a little bit here, but, Central likes to bunt, so I'd be very surprised if they don't try to lay it down.
1 ball, no strikes. A little bit of a delay once again. I saw something, I guess it was in the Powell ball game, that I think I had never seen before in a game. The Powell pitcher, the Wildcats had a runner at first, Jacob Franklin. He must have thrown over to first at least 15 times, if not more, while he was facing a batter. I had never seen a pitcher throw over to first, hold a runner like that, like the guy at Powell did.
It was super entertaining. I mean, the crowd was not the Oak Ridge parents weren't liking it one bit, but in the MLB, I believe it's 2 and you're done.
Right? Yeah,
if
you
I'm not
can't do it anymore. And if you do throw over, you got to get him, or the runner advances to second. So it makes it much more difficult. Finally, the batter steps back in. I think he is going to square the bunt. The runner broke towards third and a swing and a miss. I think the Wildcats thought he was going to swing away. Mikey was in just a step or so, never really came in on him because he quickly pulled the bat back and swung away, and the count is 1-1. We're in the 4th inning, scoreless game, Oak Ridge and Central District 3 championship game. The pitch, he does bunt it this time, and it is going to go foul up the third base line. Joey and I talked about this, and I don't know this for a fact, but when you have your own field, especially at a higher level, Tommy Shumpert Park is kind of a city park over in Knoxville, but you can kind of let the grass grow to the length that you want it to kind of benefit the strengths of your team. And that's what I think they did at Shumpert Park because the grass was so high, and anytime they bunted it, it was fair, and it died in the grass. That one goes foul. We'll see what John can do with a 1-2 pitch here. Breaking pitch hit on the infield. Caden Black on the dirt, under it, makes the catch for out number 1. Good guy to get out, and first out of the inning, and next up for the Bobcats.
Is Jack Good, the second baseman, walks his first at bat.
Here comes Coach Free. I don't know. John's been pitching great here. I don't know if he's going to take him out or. Okay, I can see that because it is dark. I believe what I was just told. We're going to put some tape on the catcher's fingers so he can see the signs. That was a lot of strategy right now. I'm going to turn the mic off, ladies and gentlemen, because James is playing the music again, and we don't want to get knocked off YouTube on a district championship game. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. We're at the District 3 baseball tournament. The Wildcats and Central Bobcats are scoreless at 0-0. The Bobcats have a runner at second base. There's one out.
Up to bat is Jack Good, the second baseman. Like I said, walked his first at bat.
Oh, man. Pretty pitch there. A little bit low, I guess. Something was wrong with it. And the count is 1 ball and no strikes. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch, breaking pitch, outside corner for a called strike. That might have been the makeup there, Joey Weston.
Oh, definitely. John's had a little bit of trouble facing this guy right here. His strike zone's a little bit smaller than a lot of guys he's pitching against.
He's built like you and I.
Yeah.
As that pitch is hit foul over towards the net and into the crowd. And Coach Joe Gaddis makes the play over there in his blue shirt. Yeah, have you noticed, Joey, that since he's not coaching football anymore, he doesn't really wear the Oak Ridge colors like he used to. He's got khaki pants, light blue shirt on. I don't know, has he become a Marlins fan or a North Carolina fan? I'm trying to figure out the coloring. We've got a 1-2 pitch about to be thrown by John Ulrich, and it's hit on the ground. Third base side, short hop, nice play. Mikey Teasley gets the out at first, gets the out at second. Terrible base running by the Central Bobcats. Double play. The ball was hit in front of the base runner at second. Mikey caught it on a great short hop, threw across to Tyler Pickens, got the first out. Tyler winged it right back across the diamond and an easy out at third base. And we go to the bottom of the 4th inning in a scoreless ball game. What a play. And we'll be back to talk about it in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. Bottom of the fourth inning, still scoreless. Eddie Tan leads things off, hits one foul up the first base line, and the count is no balls and one strike. What a great play to end the top of the fourth inning. Just a great play by the Wildcats. First, the first play was nice short hop, or between hop for Mikey Teasley, and just threw a bullet across to Tyler Pickens. And Pickens threw it right back across the dime. That ball's ripped to right field. That's a base hit. Good start. Eddie Tan, leadoff man for the Wildcats here in the fourth, has a leadoff single. Good way to start the fourth inning in a scoreless ball game. But then the smart part of the play was Caden Black, the shortstop, had the presence of mind to move from his shortstop position to cover the bag at third and take the throw from Tyler Pickens to double the man off.
Yeah, great job by Caden. Like we say, his IQ is great. I mean, he just came back, covered the base for Mikey, and great heads-up play from every single one of the players that was involved in that play.
Good start for the Wildcats here in the fourth inning. Leadoff single by Eddie Tan. If you just tuned in, the Wildcats beat Powell earlier today, 10-4. They have qualified for the region tournament. There'll be 4 teams there: Oak Ridge Central, Hardin Valley, and Farragut. It starts this weekend. Pitches hit foul. Out of play off the bat of the senior Jacob Franklin. Wildcats have Eddie Tan at first. We have a scoreless ball game. We're already to the fourth inning. Moving quickly here in this one. Not a whole lot of action.
That's right. We've seen a lot of kind of pitcher duels throughout the season, especially against, I believe was it Pigeon Forge?
Yeah.
And that game was really defensive.
Throw over to first and back safely will go Eddie. As I mentioned, the region tournament starts this weekend. It's a double elimination for the first time ever. And Wildcats will play either Hardin Valley or Farragut, depending. Runner at first. Jacob squares the bunt, hits it back to the pitcher. He's got to play at second, and they don't get the out at first. That's the second time the Wildcats have not executed a great bunt in this day. The Wildcats had an earlier bunt attempt, bunted right back to the pitcher, easily got the runner at second, and might have been earlier in this game, I guess it was, honestly. So if you're going to bunt the ball to move them over, you can't hit it back to the pitcher because that was just an easy out. Batter now will be Camden Welch. Now let's see if Wessels will throw over to first. I'm sorry, I had the music up. Hope we're still on YouTube. There's number 1. Jacob Franklin back to the bag.
Jacob has been kind of dealing with that all day. He was the runner on base when I believe the Powell, his Panther, was thrown back to first base multiple times. Jacob had to get dirty. There's another.
Number 2. And it's going to be a balk, and the Wildcats will have a runner in scoring position. So although they didn't get the bunt play executed to the way they wanted it to be executed, the Wildcats do get the runner at second base.
That's huge for the Wildcats. I mean, that was kind of the whole objective, to get a runner over to second base, and that saves them a little bit of time, and he is in good scoring position.
Thomas Cox told me in that region ball game I talked about earlier back in 2011, Jordan Lane, who was a great pitcher for the Wildcats back then, he had a no-hitter going until they broke it up into the game. So and it ended up being a kind of a lopsided score with Marable winning. But Jordan Lane, he was a great pitcher. He pitched. He was a slender guy, and I haven't seen him in a long time. Always loved to watch him pitch. Long conversation taking place on the mound, and a little bit of a conversation between the coach and the field umpire on the first base side, probably questioning whether that was actually a balk.
Yeah, I didn't really get a good view on it. I couldn't tell you, but I believe the umpire.
He knows a lot more about it than we do. Runner at second, third baseman on the grass with his toes. Pitch to Cam is a called strike. You can hear a good contingent of Bobcat fans here in front of us. Central fans were the Powell fans were a little bit rowdy, especially yesterday, I understand. 1 strike the count. Camden Welch, freshman, stands in. Jacob a big lead at second. The pitch, cut on a miss on an inside pitch, and the count is 0-2.
Camden Welch up to the plate, singled his last at-bat. Really nice hit. Was able to get on base for the Wildcats. Unfortunately, got on base with 2 outs, and the inning ended the batter after.
Jacob takes his lead off of second. There's 1 out in a scoreless game in the fourth. Central pitcher bluffs a throw back at second. Jacob hadn't gotten too far off the bag. This is the District 3 championship ball game. Maybe first of two. Wildcats have to beat the Bobcats twice to win the title. Pitch to Cam is low and outside, and the count is 1-2. But I keep saying this, and I would love to see a district championship, go to Oak Ridge, but the Wildcats qualify for the region tournament, and that's where you want to be. And they did that by beating Powell earlier today, 10-4. This guy batting right now was the winning pitcher. He pitched 3 good innings yesterday. Pitch is cut on and foul tip or strike, and that is strike number 3 and out number 2. The Wildcats will send Kyron Welch to the plate. Kyron Welch stands in. The Wildcats still have a base runner at second. There are 2 outs. Do we have some comments? I always love to read the comments here, especially for the out of Oak Ridge fans, what they think of the home cooking on the broadcast here. Joey, anything interesting?
Oh, Andrew Rudd says great pitching, John. Can't disagree with that. John's been pitching great this game. Greg Pavanich, Mr. Pavanich is on the stream, says nice double play. Most likely the only double play from Mike Teasley to Tyler Pickens back to Caden Black. So Mr. Pavanich on the stream.
So if you're watching the stream, feel free to comment. We'll if you have a question for Joey, just ask him, and we'll get it on the air. 1 ball, no strikes. Jacob at second. The pitch cut on and miss by Kyron Welch. And I believe the count, at least on the scoreboard, is 1 ball and 1 strike. Let's see if Rick will hold up his fingers to tell us. And I believe it is 1-1. Nobody has scored in this game. We've got 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning, Oak Ridge and Central. Wessels comes to the plate to Kyron Welch. Pitch hit foul. And out of play to the right side, and Wessels ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Central's had some great players. I've talked about just some of them. They've had some great athletes come through that school. A few years ago, they won back-to-back state championships in football. They won state championships in baseball. That's the Todd Helton years, of course, back in the 90s. 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Jacob Franklin at first. Asked for time, and it was granted just in time. Central fans probably thought that maybe should have been granted. Couldn't have been granted in time, but it was. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the 4th inning. Okay, James, we got it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch to Kyron. Cut on a miss, and that's a strikeout. And we have played 4 complete innings here at Bobby Hopkins Field at the District 3 championship ball game. And the Wildcats of Oak Ridge and the Central Bobcats out of Knoxville are tied at 0-0. We go to the top of the 5th. John Ulrich back out on the hill for the Wildcats. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. Our second ball game of the day. The Wildcats beat Pal 9-4, eliminated your Pal Panthers, Joey Weston, earlier today. 10-4 was the final score. I think I said 9-4, 10-4. Slided us a run. Now the Wildcats and Bobcats are playing in the district championship game, and we've got a scoreless ball game. You expect the championship to be, kind of a tight ball game, and we've got one here today.
That's right. It's always a close game between Central and the Wildcats. I mean, they go back and forth. Two great teams. Central's a great offensive team. I mean, they're able to put the ball in play, and when they do, they move runners around. We see a lot of bunting from them, and they're just a smart team.
Pitch is hit foul. Inside pitch, fouled off his hands. Back into the net, and the count is even at 1-1 We were right, Joey. The really fine ball game that John won earlier in the year was against South Doyle, and that was his win, his first win this year. Hopefully get it won today, and that pitch is a little outside, but he has been really, really good. I mean, I'm not saying where he is in the pecking order of our pitchers, but to get the chance to get the ball in the district championship game, he's got to feel pretty good about himself, and Coach Free's got to feel pretty good about the way he's pitching. Shutout to this point.
That's right. I mean, good choice. John has played great. He's had 4 strikeouts. He's held the Bobcats scoreless through 4 innings. John Ulrich playing great, the junior.
And nothing has been hit hard. Nothing has been hit hard off of him. There's a strike, and then we've got a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Infield remains the same. The most valuable player of the district, Tyler Pickens, is at first. All-district Jason Slay at second. Defensive player of the year, Caden Black. That pitch is hit softly to the second baseman, Jason Slay. Out number 1 here in the 5th inning. Rookie of the year, Mikey Teasley, is at third base. All-district Jacob Franklin is in left field. All-district honorable mention, Richie Ferreira, is in center field. And the right fielder is the freshman Camden Welch. Catcher is Kyron Welch. And on the mound, an academic guy, a guy that won, I believe, the All-District Academic Award for District 3, and that would be John Ulrich. So we've got a smart guy on the mound, Joey.
That's always good. And, I want to talk about the rookie of the year, Mikey Teasley.
That ball is hit on the line in front of Richie Ferreira, and he lets it bounce away from him, but he corrals it in time to let it keep it in front of him and keep the runner at first. Solid single. I talked about nobody's really hit the ball hard. That ball was solidly smacked. And I thought Richie might catch it at first, but he didn't want to let it get behind him. And it's a single with 1 out here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, good play. Better to play it safe than sorry. That ball gets past him. That could be a double, maybe even a triple. So nice play by Richie to get that ball in quick.
As I look down on the field once again, I told you that I thought the field looks in great shape. Joe Mason, I know, he kind of keeps up with the grounds, and I know the coaching staff works hard. The players take the tarp off. I'll go back to a tarp conversation in a minute. Good lead at first. John threw one over there and kind of didn't get the results he wanted earlier in the game. Let's see if he throws over again. The runner is not going, and timeout is asked for. Central fans said balk, but the batter stepped out of the box, and here's that good lefty bunter.
That's right. He tried to bunt his last at bat, and unfortunately struck out.
Swings and he misses at that pitch, and the count is 0-1. So, Joey, did you like pulling the tarp on tarp days?
Absolutely not. No fun whatsoever. I mean, you can even ask Nate. I mean, that was just not a good time.
Yeah, but it made the field look good for this game after the rain we had yesterday. Here's a 1-strike pitch, high and outside. He did kind of square to bunt. Mikey came charging in at third. We've got a scoreless ball game. If you just tuned in, we are in the 5th inning on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We appreciate everybody who might be watching our game here today, whether you're an Oak Ridge fan, a Central fan, or just a fan of baseball in general at the high school level. Here's the 1-strike pitch, called strike at the belt. I think the Central Bobcat fans thought it might have been a little high because this guy's not very tall. Like I said, he's about our height, Joey, and that's a strike.
Yeah, I mean that ball. I don't know that it definitely looked like a strike. He is a little bit closer on the plate. I've noticed that with a lot of the lefties. I don't know, maybe it's just our angle, but looks like a lot of the lefties like to crowd the plate, especially the Carnes. The Carnes player. I noticed a lot of them were getting hit.
Oh, nice hit by the young man. He's got a single, and they've got runners at first and second. He hit it through the vacated hole. He was able to pull that pitch into right field, and they've got runners at first and second with one out. Really nice hit there.
Yeah, that was a nice hit, and he was going to try to lay it on the bunt, but that works for him as well. Move the player over. They've got two guys on base, one out, and up to bat is Waylon Perry, the center fielder.
The Bobcats really haven't had a ton of scoring opportunities. Neither has Oak Ridge, honestly, in this game. But here's an opportunity for the Bobcats getting later in the ball game. We are in the fifth of a scoreless ball game. John Ulrich looks in for the sign. They've got him at first and second. Bobcats has a variety of pickoff plays at second. He does square to bunt that time, and John kind of deked and went back towards second, but got the batter to kind of tell us what he might be thinking about doing, and that's bunting. He does square to bunt, curveball inside. Count as 1 ball and no strikes. First trouble really for John in the ball game.
Yeah, that's right. He's been able to work out of where he had a runner at second. He was able to work out of the inning on that one. So I have no doubt he'll be able to do it again.
1 ball, no strikes. Runner takes a good-sized lead at second. Wildcats in on the grass. John's missed on the strikes, and the count is 2-0. He squared to bunt twice. And kind of the way I look at it, I know this is the way I look at it, he's trying to give you an out right there. You don't want to give him anything really you want him to pop it up, I guess, in reality, but he's trying to give you an out, and John needs to hit the strike zone here, and he steps off the rubber. 2 balls and no strikes.
That's right. It's pretty much ideal conditions for the Bobcats to bunt. They love bunting. They've got guys on first and second, and they've got a good hitter up next as well. So it's pretty much ideal conditions for them.
John's pitched great baseball for the Wildcats to this point. He's got a 2 ball, no strike count. Once again, he squares to bunt. That's a breaking pitch, evidently to inside. Looked pretty good. Umpire flinched for a second there and called it a ball. And the count is 3 balls and no strikes.
That is a really shocking, pretty devastating pitch. I mean, count should be 2-1.
There's a high strike called for a belt level strike, and the count is 3-1. Wildcat fans trying to encourage the junior hurler for the Wildcats, John Ulrich. Tall, slender guy. 3 balls and 1 strike. The pitch, he squares the bunt again. He bunts it, and it's a hard bunt. Wildcats have nobody covering. The bases are loaded. We've talked about it. Fundamentally, this Central team, they do the little things like get bunts down. Wildcats, there was some confusion on who was going to cover. I looked like both Jason and Tyler both were coming up to field the ball, and a late break by John to the plate, but they've got the bases loaded, Joey.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for the Wildcats. Little miscommunication, and that's going to cost them. I mean, bases loaded, 1 out, and they're back to the top of their order. So the Wildcats are in a tough position here. John's going to have to work out of some trouble.
Conversation taking place on the mound. We're going to turn off our mics. 0-0 our score. Central has loaded the bases. Back here at Bobby Hopkins Field, Wildcats are in a little bit of a jam here. Bases full of Bobcats. One out in a scoreless ball game at the District 3 championship game. John Ulrich facing the lefty. The pitch is a breaking pitch on the outside corner for a called strike.
Batting now is Nick Reardon, the right fielder, leadoff hitter as well. He flew out to center field and walked in his 2 attempts.
Nice comebacker would be nice right here. Get the force at home. Throw him out at first. Got some speed. 1 strike the count. Bases loaded. The pickoff play at second. They throw the ball away. Here comes the run. Maybe 2. He gets the green light. And the throw is bad. And they score 2 runs. Wildcats had a play on where they faked the throw at third. And then they tried to pick off the runner at second, and the throw went wide of the second baseman, and they scored 2 runs, and it's 2-0. So little mistakes like that will get you beat, and, you know, as I heard one person say, probably didn't need it right there, but tough play for the Wildcats, and they have their work cut out for them now, down 2-0 here in the 5th. Pitch is hit on the ground. First base side, Tyler Pickens. Nobody's covering the bag. Little things like that will get you beat in a title ball game. Ball was hit to the first baseman. John Ulrich kicking himself for not getting over, and Jason tried to get over, but now they've got runners on the corners. It's little things like that that will get you beat. And we talked about the fundamentals of this Central team. They make plays, not that we don't. We have all season long, but they've made the plays in this inning in particular. The Wildcats have struggled a bit.
It is the mistakes. I mean, the Wildcats are getting shooken up out here, and you can tell. I mean, just mistakes like that. They don't usually make those. So a little shooken up from last play, but they just need to get their heads back in it.
Pitch to the plate is down low, a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. So the Bobcats strike here in the 5th inning. 2-0 is our score in this District 3 title ball game. Wildcats beat Powell earlier today, 10-4, to advance to the region tournament and this championship game. Central just was waiting for Oak Ridge. That pitch, man, breaking pitch, belt high. Looks like it caught the corner. Called a ball. 2 balls and no strikes.
Couple missed calls here and there. He's been pitching good. He really has. Just mistakes in the field result in, runs being scored.
Oh!
Wow.
Nice play. And he's got a sore hand. That foul ball was hit pretty hard and fielded on one hand with one hand. Nice play.
Was that Coach Free?
It was.
Yeah.
Coach Free with the play. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now let's get these guys in pinstripes to make some plays in the field. 2 balls and 1 strike. The pitch hit foul back my way and out of play. Joey, if that net wasn't there, I would have had that one.
Yeah, no, I have full faith that you would have caught that one, put it away.
Yeah, it was coming right back at me. Oak Ridge fans trying to make a little noise. Central fans making noise. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2-0 now. 1 out here in the 5th. District title ball game. John Ulrich Jr. comes to the plate. Evidently a little low, and there's a stolen base. Now they got a couple runners in scoring position. Oak Ridge crowd and Coach Free and John and Joey and Nate and James and Jeff and David all thought that might have caught the strike zone. 3 balls and 2 strikes. John Ulrich comes to the plate. Hit on the ground. Shortstop. Nice play. They come home with a play, and here's the tag. You are out, young man. That is the 2nd out of the inning. Caden Black, another fine play, and a nice tag by Kyron Welch for the 2nd out.
Yeah, that ball was hit hard, and he fielded it really cleanly, got it to home, and just a perfect play altogether. Great job by Caden there, and great tag by Kyron.
Trey Lyons, the batter now. What has he done today, Mr. Weston?
Trey Lyons has had a single, and he has been hit by a pitch.
I think, Joey, this might be the latest we've done a ball game. I mean, we usually have these early ball games. We've had 2 today. Oak Ridge beat Powell 10-4. Central had to sit through that, and they made the crowd leave after the first game and come back in and pay. Central trying to make the Wildcats pay right here. They Made a few mistakes, mental mistakes here in this inning. Central has taken advantage of it with some clutch hitting, some good bunting, and just some good base running to take a 2-0 lead. But John can cut down the damage here. He's got runners on the corners. There are 2 outs now as we play here in the top of the 5th inning. Time is asked for once again. What a great crowd. I've talked about that. I love it when we fill this place up here at Bobby Hopkins. And it isn't that the other fields are being used tonight. We've had big crowds where the other fields are being used. They're all here. That pitch is outside the ball. 2 balls and no strikes. I feel bad for John, really, because, you know, he has really pitched a fine ball game. Hopefully the Wildcat bats will get going here in the bottom of the inning, and hopefully John can keep it right here at 2.
That's right. They scored 3, I believe, against Central last time they played. So I don't see why they can't do it again. They're a good offensive team.
And remember the come-from-behind win in the regular season against Central here. I think that was a 4-3 win over the Bobcats here at Bobby Hopkins Field. John out of the strike zone, 3 balls and no strikes. Wildcats don't have much left in terms of pitching that they can bring in as that pitch sails up high and the bases are loaded once again. Wildcats, I guess they have the option of Jacob Franklin. He actually pitched 2 innings in the Central ball game this weekend. And I guess Richie Ferreira could pitch. One guy that saw some action last year, but I don't think I've seen him pitch this year, is Caden Black. I don't think I've seen Caden pitch at all this year, although he has pitched in the past. Tyler can't pitch. His pitch count and innings are up. That pitch is outside a ball, and it's 1-0. Good stop there by Kyron Welch, the catcher, to keep it from going back to the bricks.
Yeah, Kyron's been doing well with that this season. Started off a little bit rocky at the beginning, but he has really adapted, and he has gotten a lot better at stopping those balls, getting in front of it, and reducing the amount of just free runs.
1 ball, no strikes. John Ulrich comes to the plate. There's a called strike at the belt. Took something off of that one. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Bases full of Bobcats. The Wildcats trailed 2-0 in the District 3 title ball game, but Oak Ridge has advanced to the region with their win over Powell today. Final 4 in our region. There's so good pitch. Maybe a little low. It's the only thing I can think. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike.
Up to bat is Sammy Myers with the bases loaded. He's had 2 at-bats thus far. He's grounded out and flown out.
There's one on the inside corner for a called strike, and John pounding the strike zone. His control has been the best I've seen it since that South Doyle game where he won. Pitched a complete game. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bases loaded. 2-2 pitch. Hit on the ground. Shortstop. Oh! Caden Black throws in time. Caden Black with a great play at short. Retires the side. The Bobcats pick up a couple of runs. They leave the bases loaded. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning here at Bobby Hopkins Field at the District 3 championship ball game. Central leads the Wildcats 2-0, and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field, the District 3 title ball game here on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Oak Ridge and Central, Hardin Valley and Farragut heading to the region tournament this weekend. But right now we've got the District 3 championship game. Wildcats and the Bobcats. Central has taken a 2-0 lead with 2 runs in the top of this inning as Jason Slay leads things off for the Wildcats. What has he done today?
Jason Slay grounded out his first at-bat, first and only at-bat, actually.
In the bottom of the 5th inning. Kind of a late one we're going to have here after the 10-4 win over Powell. That pitch a little bit low. Coach Tom Froning was the head coach of the Wildcats the last time Oak Ridge went to the region tournament. That was back in 2011. Took him to the region in 2007 as well. Those are a couple that I remember. Wessel's ahead in the count of over Slay. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. Jason back in, pitch. A little bit low, just below the knees, and the count is 2-2.
And David, when you get the chance, Ricky Jones was wondering if you could remind him of the Bobby Hopkins Field history.
Bobby Hopkins history, I can do that, Ricky. That pitch is outside. They asked for help, and they say did not. Bobby Hopkins. This field was originally built for a semi-pro team back in the 40s. Of course, the Oak Ridge Bombers played on this field. Here's a 3-2 pitch. I'll come back to that, Ricky. Pitch called strike 3. Probably too close to take. Looked pretty good. And that strikeout of Jason Slay. Bobby Hopkins was a great player for the Wildcats in the 50s. Played for the University of Tennessee. Might have played a little pro ball as well. And the name of the field was dedicated to him in 1978. Here's Caden Black, 2 for 2 in the ball game. A couple of solid singles. Wildcats need some base runners here. That pitch is outside corner for a called strike. Oh yeah, the second hit was a double. He had a single, and what should have been a single, he stretched into a double and some great base running. Pitch outside, scoots away, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. So to answer your question, this field has been here since the 40s, played by professionals, played by the Wildcats on this field. The dimensions are huge. 348 to left, 357 as that pitch is cut on a miss to center. 328 over in right field. The power alleys are 368. It's been here a long time, and a lot of good baseball players have played on this field.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you know a lot about this field.
Pitch is hit in the air to shallow center field. The center fielder makes the catch for out number 2. So the Wildcats are retired. First 2 batters that has faced Wessels. Central trying to win the district championship tonight. The Wildcats trying to extend it, trying to win tonight, and then play Central again tomorrow with a chance to win the title. But Central wants to win the title tonight. Mikey Teasley stands in. 2 outs, though, here in the 5th. That pitch is on the inside corner for a called strike.
And I'd like to mention the noise coming over here from the Central Bobcat side. I mean, this is taking place at Bobby Hopkins Field, but there is a lot of Central fans out here.
There's a base hit in the left field for the freshman Mikey Teasley. Solid line drive to left. That brings the tying run to the plate to the District 3 most valuable player, Tyler Pickens.
Tyler Pickens has had 2 at-bats so far this game. He was struck out his first at-bat and then intentionally walked his second.
2 out trouble for Wessels. Runner at first. As I said, the tying run at the plate in the person of the most valuable player in the district this year, Tyler Pickens. Good lead for Mikey at first. Wessels comes to the plate. Pitch is outside. Almost like a pitch out there. The catcher was already coming up out of his stance, maybe anticipating Mikey going. Pitch was a ball, 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, and talking about most valuable player of the year, Tyler Pickens has done great for the Wildcats this year. Came over from Hardin Valley. That ball is lifted high into the air. Center fielder calls for it. makes the play and retires Tyler Pickens. That's 2 outs of the inning. And the 5th inning will come to an end. Leading things off for the Bobcats next inning will be Jack Good, Jack Reardon, and Cole Wessel. We'll be back to it in the 5th inning.
Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. John Ulrich begins the 6th inning of work here, down 2-0.
Starting things off will be Jack Good, the second baseman. Walked his first at bat and grounded out his second, which turned into a double play. That was a beautiful double play, actually, going back on it.
You know, I was talking about the regional berths when Coach Froning was the coach. They made it to the region in 2000, 2002, 2007, and 2011. 11 was the last time we have been to the region tournament, so hopefully we'll make some noise there. That pitch is a called strike, and the count is 2-1 strike. If you get to the region tournament, and it used to be a single elimination. So, I mean, if you got beat, you're done. If you had a stud pitcher, and I've always said that pitch is sailing outside. If you've got a stud pitcher in a single elimination ball game, you're going to win for the most part. I like the fact that it's double elimination starting this year with Hardin Valley, Farragut, Oak Ridge, and Central being involved.
Yeah, that is great. We've faced a lot of really good pitchers this year, and that's ball 4. Jack Good will take his base, and that is the first walk of the inning.
So a leadoff walk for the Central Bobcats. They lead Oak Ridge 2-0 as they bat in the 6th inning, the top of the 6th inning. They scored the 2 runs. That's what I was trying to say last inning. Bobcats were not at their best in that inning. You know, made a few mistakes mentally, and it cost them. And we've talked about how fundamentally sound this Central team is, and Oak Ridge is fundamentally sound. I don't want anybody to think I'm saying bad things about our guys, but Central just has made the plays when they've needed to in this one.
Yeah, really solid team. I mean, their defense is great. They have a good pitcher, Cole Wessel. He's been pitching great this game, but their offense is really good. That's what I take away from this team. Just their ability to move runners around is great. They're able to put the ball in play, and they don't strike out very often.
Here's a pitch hit deep to center field, but not deep enough. Out number 1. Coach Branson is playing the New York Frank Sinatra between innings. Got a comment that says Frank Sinatra between innings will not inspire 17 to 18-year-olds with a lame at the end of it. Can you believe that? Well, I don't want to hurt your feelings, James, Coach Gaddis's feelings. But I was told just by a text here, actually on Facebook, that Frank Sinatra does not inspire 17 and 18-year-olds. It.
We played it when we won. It come back fashion again.
I was told we played it when we came back to win the Central ball game. 1 ball, no strikes. John Ulrich comes to the plate, hitting the air on the infield once again. Mikey Teasley calls for it right in front of the mound, now behind it, to the side of it, and he makes the play for out number 2.
Nice job by Mikey there, using his voice to get that ball. He knew he had it, and he was confident. Great play.
2 outs here in the 6th inning. And the batter now for the Central Bobcats, standing in.
Number 7, Kalen Chesney.
Chesney had a solid single his last plate appearance. Joey, any more comments on the YouTube stream that we want to read?
We have none. I was just checking for him.
And batting from the left side, the first pitch to him is high ball. So Nate is sat down next to me here, going to try his hand at color as Richie Ferreira stands in. What has he done? I don't know if you can read the book here. And that pitch is hit foul back to the screen.
Hey, yeah, it's good to be here. Richie has grounded out and flown out in his 2 at-bats tonight.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count. Cole Wessels to the plate, high and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Nate, the Wildcats, they're only down 2 runs, but we're getting late as we go to the 6th inning. The Wildcats have got to get something rolling.
Yeah, we'd love to see the bats get going for Oak Ridge here tonight. They're running out of time to do it. We'd like to see something happen.
There is ball 3. Wildcats trying to get their leadoff man aboard as Richie stands back in. Lefty versus lefty, one of the few times that Wessels has shown any lack of control. 3 balls and 1 strike. The pitch hit foul into the parking lot and on top of Joey's car, and there goes the windshield. And it must have really hit one that time. You can hear the crowd right now. And evidently, that pitch is hit on the ground. High hopper. It's going to be a tough play. Shortstop Fields throws. They say he's out. Did you move the camera? And that is the first out of the inning. A bang-bang play. Richie couldn't run it out, though.
Yeah, close play there. I was really hoping Richie could run that out.
Looks like we're going to have a pitching change here. We apologize for the picture freezing here, but good job by Cole Wessels. He has pitched a whale of a ball game, a shutout to this point for the Central Bobcats, and he gets a nice round of applause from the Central fans here. And Nate, there are a lot of Central fans here.
Yeah, the fans really showed up for Central tonight, hoping to lead their Bobcats to a lead.
Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. Eddie Tan leads things off for the Wildcats. Eddie had a single his last plate appearance. We got a new pitcher in the ball game. Breaks off a pretty good curveball for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes.
Yeah, new pitcher out here. His name is Jesse Belk.
1 ball, no strikes. The pitch, cut on and missed. Count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. One out here, nobody aboard for the Wildcats, trailing 2-0. Pitch hit well to right, but foul. Kind of got around on it late, but hits it into the trees, and the count is 1-2. 1 out here in the 6th inning. John Ulrich has gone all the way for Oak Ridge. His team trails 2-0. Second pitcher used by the Bobcats. The pitch, a breaking pitch, ripped to left, and that is a base hit. Solid base knock, his second hit. And I don't know if you heard me, Nate. I was telling Joey before the game that I thought in the Powell ball game, although he didn't have a whole lot to show for it, that Eddie was ripping the ball with nothing to show for it, and he's had 2 really solid hits in this one.
Yeah, love to see that exit velocity get up there for Eddie Tan because we know he has the power to get it done.
And the Wildcats step in with Jacob Franklin, I believe. See what Jacob has done in the ball game. I know he reached base, tried to bunt, unsuccessfully, reached on a fielder's choice. That pitch is up high, 1 ball and no strikes. Wildcats down 2-0. District 3 title ball game here at Bobby Hopkins Field. In front of a packed house, newly renovated Bobby Hopkins Field. Pitch, inside corner for a called strike. He's got some velocity when he throws it.
Looks like he's got some nasty stuff here early.
I guess you got a chance to play with Jacob back in the day.
Yeah, Jacob was a good teammate. Me and Joey had some experience playing, mostly for JV, but we still had a fun time.
1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch bounces away, and down to second will go Eddie Tan. So the Wildcats have a runner in scoring position and a 2 ball, 1 strike count. Boy, the Oak Ridge fans have now come to life. We've got a really big student section. Going to have a late night here. It's already 20 minutes till 10. We had an earlier ball game, 10-4 win over Powell, eliminating the Panthers. And the Wildcats advancing to the district tournament because of the region tournament because of it. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jacob Franklin, the senior back in. Run the stretch, checks the runner, and steps off the rubber. Wildcats have Camden Welch on deck for the Wildcats. He has a hit, I believe, in the ball game. Jacob Franklin back in, 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitch, bounces away again, way outside.
Nice
And
play by the catcher there.
yeah, or if he doesn't make that play, Eddie's at third base easily. 3 balls and 1 strike. Central, Wessel's out of the ball game. The relief pitcher has given up a solid single. There's 1 out. Now he's behind in the count. 3 balls and 1 strike. Jacob needs to get on base somehow. Bring the go-ahead run to the plate. 3-1 pitch. Way up high, and that is ball 4. And listen to the Oak Ridge crowd making a lot of noise. Wildcats will have them at first and second with 1 out. Camden Welch, the batter for the Wildcats. Runners at first and second. The pitch, that's up high. 1 ball and no strikes.
Camden has a single in this game, but in his last at bat, he did strike out.
Nate, you know as well as I do, if you prove that you can't hit the strike zone, the umpire's not going to give you the call very often. That was a borderline pitch. 1-0 pitch. That's way down south. And it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Possible that the pitcher here is losing a bit of control.
Runner at second base, Eddie Tan. Runner at first base, Jacob Franklin. 2 balls, no strikes to the freshman, Camden Welch. Pitch, almost hit him. 3 balls, no strikes, and the catcher has seen enough. He's out to talk to the relief pitcher for the Central Bobcats. Oak Ridge has 1 come from behind victory over the Central Bobcats here at Bobby Hopkins Field this year. Wildcats trying to get a comeback going here in the 6th inning. It is 2-0 Central. Camden Welch back in. He's a freshman. Pitched great yesterday in the first 3 innings of the PAL game. Got the win today. Closed out by Mikey Teasley. 3 balls, no strikes. That pitch is a called strike at the belt. And the freshman probably will learn not to throw the bat away to make the umpire mad. And if I were Camden, I'd say, Rick, I'm sorry. And just kind of quietly get back in the box.
Yeah, the Oak Ridge fans are getting pretty loud here as the Wildcats look to load the bases.
3 balls, 1 strike. Runners at first and second. Pitch to Camden. Down low, ball 4, bases full of Wildcats here on the bottom of the 6th inning with 1 out. And the batter pinch hitting for the Oak Ridge High School Wildcats. It looks like it's going to be Alex Franklin. Alex Franklin has a bat, and he'll be batting for the Oak Ridge Wildcats.
Alex Franklin has pitched well this year. He is battling an injury that does not allow him to pitch, but he will have an at bat.
He'll be hitting for Kyron Welch. So Alex Franklin, the new batter here, and Joey Weston rejoins us for a second here. Alex had a big hit earlier this season against Central.
That's right. The Wildcats were down last inning. They needed to get going. Alex Franklin got that momentum going. He had a double and moved Jason Slay to third. After that, Kane Black was able to bat the runner in and win the game for the Wildcats. So Alex was a crucial part of that play.
But he's got to have a quality at bat here. And he's just seen some wild pitching by the Central Bobcat pitcher, and that one's right down the middle for a called strike. Wildcats have the tying runs in scoring position. At second and third, the bases are loaded. 1 strike the count. Alex Franklin, Jr. Pitch to him. Oh, he takes strike 2. He's taken 2 really good pitches right down the middle.
Yeah, that's right. 2 fastballs down the middle. Alex Franklin, Coach Free trusts in him. I mean, he's putting him in for Kyron Welch here. That means that Alex Franklin, he knows he can do something. I mean, he's putting his faith in him.
No balls and 2 strikes, 1 out, bases loaded. Big moment in the game right here. Pitch is strike 3 swinging. And I think Alex will probably kick himself more for taking those first 2 pitches that were just right down this pipe. And he swings at the third one, which was way out of the strike zone. So now it's going to be up to a senior here to see if the Wildcats can get anything out of this inning. Jason Slay batting. If we could get Caden Black up, as that pitch is high. Ball one. You know, those two pitches to Alex were right down the middle. I didn't mean to take Nate out of the broadcast here, but I know you were there with me when we saw Alex get that hit. One ball, no strikes.
That was a great game. I mean, it really came down to the last inning. It's looking a lot like this here.
There's strike one. 1 ball and 1 strike, 2 outs, bases full of Wildcats. Central leading Oak Ridge 2-0 in the 6th inning, trying to win the district title tonight here at Bobby Hopkins Field. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jason Slay, senior second baseman for the Wildcats. Pitch, breaking pitch, called strike 2. Last 2 batters have kind of held up, and I would expect this one to be out of the strike zone. Jason's got to be disciplined right here.
Yeah, their pitcher was looking a little bit rough here at the beginning of the inning, but after that talk, it looks like he's starting to put more strikes in the zone. And, I mean, he's really coming to play.
1 ball, 2 strikes. 1-2 pitch, breaking pitch, cut on a miss. Swinging strikeout, and that is the 3rd out of the inning. Great job, as Joey said, getting in and out of trouble. And the Bobcats head to the top of the 7th inning, leading in the District 3 championship ballgame over the Oak Ridge Wildcats. 2-0 our score. John Ulrich comes out for his 7th inning of work. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. We go to the top of the 7th inning. Wildcats trailing in the district title ball game 2-0. Got to credit all the everything to the relief guy and Whistles. Obviously, Whistles pitched a shutout up until this inning, got replaced, and then loaded the bases and got out of it. Wildcats back-to-back strikeouts to close it out.
Yeah, that's right. The new pitcher, Jesse, he started off slow, but he worked his way back. Bases were loaded, and he was able to get out of it, which was a great job by him. Just the Wildcats weren't able to capitalize.
Nice breaking pitch there by John Ulrich, and he's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. John's pitched a great game. We're in the 7th inning right now, and it's only a 2-0 ball game.
Yeah, and those 2 runs were just off of a simple mistake, a pickoff move. So he has been pitching really well.
Ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. District title ball game here at Bobby Hopkins Field, a late night. As that breaking pitch, called strike 3. Inside corner, right at the belt, right on the inside half of the plate. Really a great pitch there by John Ulrich.
The Bobcats are back to the top of the lineup. Nick Royerden, the right fielder, flew out his first at bat, walked his second, and had a single his third.
Now, Joey, you do really good all the time. You have trouble saying his name, though.
Yes, that has been a problem for me all season.
Reardon.
Reardon.
Yes.
Riordan. Said
That's-
it all.
I've heard it all, yeah, but you got it right.
Reardon.
Yeah.
All right.
Only reason we had a baseball player, and Coach Froning will remember this, Seth Reardon, who played at Oak Ridge High School. So I've known a few Reardons in my day.
Yeah, I apologize to any Reardons watching the broadcast right now.
There's a kind
it's
of a
my
funny
fault.
story about Seth Reardon, but I don't think I'm going to tell it on the air right now. Coach, don't worry, don't panic. I'm not going to tell the story. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Bases were loaded the last inning. Wildcats couldn't get anything across. Here's the pitch to the plate. Looked pretty good.
Wildcats are in a bit of a difficult position here. Down by 2. They need a big defensive inning here, and they need a huge offensive inning as well. I mean, they've got to win this game to have a chance at winning the district overall. They've got to play again if they do end up winning this game against the Bobcats.
Pitch was a little bit high, I guess. 3 balls and no strikes, 1 out, nobody aboard. I'm going to ask what the pitch count is on John here. He's pitched into the 7th inning. I don't know the pitch count. I'm probably on the game changer. We could find out. 3 balls, no strikes. The pitch, inside corner for a called strike. The count is 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Great pitch there. Caught the high inside corner. A little in, could have been a makeup call, but great pitch there by John. He's trying to work his way back into this count. 3-1.
Pitch, cut on a missed. 3-2. Really nice pitch by John Ulrich. He has pitched so well. Like you said, Joey, just a couple mental mistakes there in that 1 inning where they scored the 2 runs. Or we might still be scoreless. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody aboard for the Bobcats in the 7th. The pitch, cut on a miss, swinging strikeout, and that is out number 2.
Great job by John right there. That is his second strikeout of the inning. John is coming to play this inning. He knows he's got to make up for those last 2 runs, and he is helping his team out tremendously.
Trying to get the 3rd out here in the 7th inning. The Bobcats lead it by a score of 2-0. John Ulrich, like I said, has gone all the way for the Wildcats, trying to close it out here in the 7th. That breaking pitch is on the inside corner for a called strike. Kind of looking at the pitch count here. You can go through the stats there and see. He's ahead in the count, no balls and 1 strike. Kyron Welch with the sign. The pitch hit foul back to the screen. John Ulrich trying to close it out with a flurry here. He's retired the first 2 batters with ease. 107 pitches in the ballgame for John Ulrich.
And out of those, 59 have been strikes. We're able to see that too. That's pretty cool.
Has the sign once again. He's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. The Wildcats down 2-0. We'll have the top of the order in the bottom of the 7th inning. Joe Allen's pitch hit well to left, very high, but not deep enough. Back on it will go the left fielder. That is Jacob Franklin, and he makes the catch for out number 3. So 3 up and 3 down for John Ulrich, who completes just a fantastic game at the district tournament. 7 complete innings for the junior in the district championship game. Unfortunately, he finds himself on the short end of things, down 2-0. It's time for the Wildcats to make the comeback and win the first game of this district championship event here at Bobby Hopkins between the Wildcats and the Bobcats. Oak Ridge has already beaten Powell tonight 10-4 to advance to the region tournament. They, along with Central, Hardin Valley, and Farragut, will be playing this weekend with a chance to get a sub-state and a win or 2 away from the state baseball tournament, something the Wildcats have not achieved since the early 70s. We'll be back for the bottom of the 7th in a moment. Welcome back once again to Bobby Hopkins Field. It all comes down to this for the Central Bobcats trying to win the district championship. The Wildcats trying to spoil the party, at least for a night, as Caden Black takes a pitch low. They asked for help, and they said he swung. Central fans agree. Oak Ridge fans and coaching staff do not. That's baseball. There's always one side that's going to be happy, and the other side's not.
Yeah, that's right. And batting for the Wildcats, we have Caden Black, Mikey Teasley, and Tyler Pickens. Some of the best hitters on this Oak Ridge team.
That pitch is cut on and missed. I think Caden was trying to hit one out of the park here. We just need him on base. We need somebody to get on base and bring the tying run to the plate. Here's a good guy to get on base, and he swings and he misses. And that's a big strikeout and a great start for the Central Bobcats as Caden goes down swinging.
That is not good for the Wildcats.
Number 3, Mikey.
Mikey Teasley stands in for the Wildcats. One out here in the 7th. That pitch nowhere close. Ball 1.
Mikey Teasley has 3 at-bats so far, struck out his first, flew out his second, and had a really nice single his 3rd at-bat.
Heading the count, 1 ball, no strikes. Pitch, hit on the ground, high hopping ball, foul up the 3rd base line. I really can't say enough about the pitching job that John Ulrich did. 7 complete innings, only gave up 2 runs, and, you know, just some mistakes by the Wildcats, including himself. Hurt the Wildcats, and those 2 runs might not be on the board. He just pitched great tonight.
Yeah,
and obviously the Central pitchers have been superb, even better.
Yeah, pitching all around has been great. John worked out of trouble so many times. I mean, he has saved this Wildcats team. I mean, the score very well could have been a lot higher, but John kept it down, and he has done a great job so far.
Jesse buzzed the tower right there, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Mikey Teasley. Like we said, he got a hit the last time. Pitch to him, inside corner, breaking pitch. I don't think it ever caught the corner. It was a nice breaking pitch, but I don't think it ever caught the corner. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 pitch, working quickly, cut on a miss. And he is in a groove right now. Back-to-back strikeouts, and the Wildcats are down to their final out. Not of the season, but of this district tournament.
That's right. Great pitching by this new pitcher as well.
Central fans on their feet, sensing a district championship. Tyler Pickens trying to, pitch is inside. They ask for help again. They asked for help, and he didn't get help from the umpire that time, and the count is 1-0. It's fun. Go ahead.
2 outs here. The Wildcats need something big, and Tyler Pickens can be that guy to get things going. He's been clutch for the Wildcats all season.
That one hit him, and down the first will go Tyler Pickens, and you can, I'm not saying he did that on purpose, but there was, he's been pretty good with his control until that pitch, but he takes out Tyler Pickens there, and now the tying run does come to the plate in the person of Richie Ferreira. Richie stands in. Tyler, the base runner at first. There are 2 outs. The Wildcats trying to get a rally started here. There's 2 outs in the 7th inning. Central 1 out away from the district title. Cut on a miss. That pitch was way inside. I know what Richie had on his mind, the 357 mark in dead center field, but that pitch was way inside. Almost hit him, actually.
Yeah, and, you know, Richie, he's just got to get this ball in play. He's got to keep it alive for his team. Tyler Pickens on first base. They've got the numbers to get the job done.
He's going. Pitch is hit on the ground. There's a base hit. Oh, it's foul. Just outside the line. I don't know. Looked pretty good, but my angle is not the greatest. I don't see the people on the other side complaining. Man, it looked fair as fair could be. But they say it was foul. I mean, I don't know. It might have been an optical illusion. I I mean, he was standing right there, so and I didn't see the people in our stands argue too much who were right down the line. No balls, 2 strikes to Richie. Runner going, pitch is hit foul again. Off to the right side, into the parking lot, and the count is 0-2. Wildcat fans, this is the district championship game. Central, obviously, trying to win it tonight. Tyler returns to the bag at first. Wildcats will play this weekend in the region, so their season doesn't come to a close regardless of this pitch or this at-bat. Pitch is cut on miss, and District 3 title belongs to the Central Bobcats. And they celebrate on Bobby Hopkins Field. Congratulations to Central. They have won the regular season, or actually the Wildcats won the regular season title, but Central wins the tournament title. Final score of the ball game, 2-0 Bobcats. Great tournament, close ball games, great pitching duel today, but Central just a little bit better in the pitching department. They made the plays when they needed to, and they win the district title by a final score of 2-0. Congratulations to the Bobcats.
At the end of the ball game, Central wins 2-0. They will move on to play in the region tournament.
And that's a tough loss for the Wildcats. They did fight hard. They tried to keep it in. Try to keep it a close game, which they did, 2-0. It's always a close game with Central, but Central just pulled out the win tonight. They worked a little bit harder, and they got the job done.
So this is the final game of the year unless the Wildcats can earn a sub-state ball game here at Bobby Hopkins Field. To do that, they need to win the region championship. The Wildcats have not won the region since 1993, but they had not won the district regular season title since the 70s. It could be done. The Wildcats will be facing the winner of the Farragut Hardin Valley ball game. Farragut won the first game earlier today, and they were leading in the second game. Farragut has to beat Hardin Valley twice to win the title. But the good news is, as I've been saying throughout the ball game, and regardless what happened in this game, the Wildcats are still alive, and they are in the region tournament starting this weekend.
Yeah, that's right. Things could be a lot worse for Wildcats. They still have another life. They're going to the region tournament, but they're going to have to play the number 1 seed, which is the problem with this.
On their home field.
On their home field. So that's the disadvantage of losing the game. But the Wildcats have pulled off a lot of wins, and they're fully capable of pulling off a huge win against the winner.
That's the Central fans celebrating their 2-0 win over the Wildcats here at Bobby Hopkins Field. We'll be speaking to the head coach of the Wildcats, Travis Free, in a bit. We're going to let Joey kind of go through the totals. I don't know, you might want to look at these totals here. It might be a little easier for you, but we'll let him total it up. We'll come back and look at that. The final score, 2-0. Central has won the District 3 title. We'll be back in a moment. We're back here at Bobby Hopkins Field. The Wildcats having their post-game conversation out in left field. The Central Bobcats celebrating at their dugout. Their fans came in big numbers here, and they win the ball game by a final score of 2-0. They are the District 3 tournament champions, and they'll take on the loser of Farragut and Hardin Valley. That game going on. The last score we have was Farragut on top 1-0. They had won the first ball game, trying to win the second one and win the District 4 championship. The Wildcats haven't been to the region tournament since 2011. They are going this year, so Wildcat fans, you're still alive and breathing. It's a double elimination tournament. They'll be playing either Farragut or Hardin Valley. That's hard. That's hard stuff. We scrimmaged Hardin Valley at Lenore City earlier in the year. I think Mikey lost that game 1-0 in a scrimmage game, but it's a scrimmage, and it was way back in March. We haven't played Farragut in a long time. And whether or not, whoever we play, we being Oak Ridge, it'll be on the road, either at Hardin Valley or at Farragut High School. And I've broadcast from Farragut before, but I've never broadcast a game from Hardin Valley. I used to do the stats for the team a Coach Froning was the coach, and I've been to that field many times, but never have I ever broadcast from there. So I will be home from Atlanta, and if we can find some sponsors, TSSAA charges $250 for us to broadcast any postseason ball game. Anybody out there willing to help us with that, we would greatly appreciate it, or we cannot stream it. And it's $250 if you're a business, if you're just a person of interest, a Wildcat baseball fan, anybody. We would love to have the games on our YouTube channel, but it will cost us $250. Joey, I believe, is getting closer and closer to the final stats. He is ready, and we'll let him run those down for you.
Tonight for the Wildcats on the offensive side, Caden Black came up with an impressive 2 hits tonight, single and a double for him. He also had a stolen base, no surprise there. Next, Camden Welch got on base twice and had a big single for the Wildcats, putting them in scoring position. He ended up not making it home, but he was in a good position. Eddie Tan with 2 singles tonight, really impressive for him. He made it to third, but just couldn't get home. He was really close. On the defensive side for the Wildcats tonight, John Ulrich came up with 6 strikeouts. And for the Central Bobcats tonight on the defensive side, 7 strikeouts for Cole Wessel. Really impressive job by him. He was later relieved by Jesse Belk, and he came in with 5 strikeouts to close out the night. He really showed up the last inning and took down the Wildcats. Didn't really show his nerves, and he got the job done. We'll be sending this back to David, and we will be back with interviews here soon.
You and Nick could have talked a little while if you wanted to. Well, let's get them both in here.
All right, Nate. Tonight, the Wildcats just couldn't come through. I mean, we really got close there. You know, last inning, we have Caden Black, Mikey Teasley, and Tyler Pickens, arguably 3 of the best hitters on Oak Ridge.
Yeah, we certainly had some opportunities tonight. Maybe we couldn't capitalize, but it was still a great game. And it's not the end of our season. We're going to be able to head to the regional tournament and see what the Wildcats can do there.
Yeah, that's right. Another bad thing for the Wildcats today was they played half a game, and that took almost 2 hours. So, you know, they could be a little bit tired. They maybe weren't at their full potential tonight, which is kind of what I'm thinking. I think it could have been a little bit of a closer game. I mean,
yeah, they certainly didn't get as much rest as this Central team had. They were here and ready to go and had a couple, what seemed like about an hour and a half before they had to take the field.
Yeah, another thing I want to mention is John Ulrich. I haven't seen him pitch much this season, but he really showed out tonight. I mean, we're talking about 5 strikeouts. He held them to 2 runs. And those 2 runs, I mean, they came off of a mistake that was tried to pick off a runner. So that really is devastating for John. I mean, he played a great game. There's really nothing much he could have done better.
Yeah, I mean, John, the pitcher, he had some beautiful stuff there tonight. It's just your mind goes back to that one play, trying to pick off the runner at second base, and the ball just heads to the outfield and allows 2 runners to score. That's really the defining moment of tonight's game.
Yeah, that's right. And luckily, they did bounce back because the next play after, you could tell they were really shooken up. I mean, the miscommunication, that stuff happens from plays before. And the Wildcats were able to come out of that inning with only 2 runs let. So I am impressed with the way they came back.
Yeah, although maybe they couldn't take the win tonight, they got to be able to hold their heads up high. They fought hard. Central's a great team, and Central's just so good on the fundamental side of the game with the bunts and with their base running. And they also pitch really well. It was a great game overall for the Central Bobcats.
Yeah, I've been saying it all day. It's always close with the Central Bobcats. I mean, we go there, super close game. They end up taking the win later on in the game. They come back here. We come trailing behind 7th inning and win the game. So, I mean, it's just been back and forth with Central all season long. If it ends up playing them in the region tournament somehow, I think the Wildcats have a good chance at winning.
Yeah, we're all excited to see what they're able to do on this tail end of the season. But tonight was certainly a pitcher's battle, and we'll be back for the next game ready to go.
Science Hill for sure, probably. Waiting to speak to the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Travis Free. Yeah, see, I can't really read his hand signals there. James, is he coming or is he not coming?
Great question. I'll let
Yeah, he gave me some signals, but I wasn't sure whether he meant that he wanted us to stop or come in and do the interview. We'll wait for him to get a little closer. Wildcats have been defeated in the district championship game 2-0. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to our YouTube stream here at the District 3 tournament. The Wildcats just defeated now by the Central Bobcats by a final score of 2-0. And joining me now, the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Travis Free. Coach, first off, we'll talk about the PAL game first. Obviously, I don't know how to say this, but the right way. But this game was for a championship.
Yeah.
But the PAL ball game actually, in some ways, meant more because it qualified you to get to the championship game,
Yep.
and more importantly, the region tournament game. Yesterday, you got rained out. Well, suspended game, up 8-0. You held on and won the ball game and qualified you for the region.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we got rain yesterday because it messed up. I don't like the fact that we had to play a game of that magnitude first and then have turn around and play a championship game on the same night. I just felt like it was a little unfair advantage. But you know what? We advanced to the regional, and that's something that we haven't talked about around here in over a decade. So, that's what I was trying to tell our kids. We just did something that we haven't done in a long, long time, and let's not sell ourselves short. Yeah, it wasn't the result we wanted in a championship tonight, but we also, advanced. We got another week of baseball. We get a chance to go do what we set out to do a long time ago. So hopefully we can kind of get it together a little bit. How about John, though? John threw the game of his life, honestly. He was phenomenal today. I mean, he was phenomenal. Outside of one mishap on a pickoff attempt that we tried, he was lights out. They didn't score any runs on any of their offensive plays.
Yeah, I thought so. And there was only a couple balls hit hard off of him the whole night. And you're right. And I know as you get to this stage this deep, especially coming out of the loser side of the bracket, your pitching is limited. You
Yep.
don't have that many pitchers left because, Mikey's thrown a lot, Tyler's thrown a lot, Jacob's thrown a lot. So you had to go, and Camden obviously pitched great yesterday, and he
Yep.
couldn't come back and pitch
That's right.
today. But John came in there, and I going back to, I guess it was the South Doyle game, he pitched a complete game, I think, in that one. But the caliber of the team tonight, much better.
Oh, yeah.
He really shut him down.
He was excellent. I mean, he just threw the game of his life, and then turned around with the fact that they didn't get any hits, and they barreled some balls up yesterday against or who did we play them on against Pickens. So they did a great job, and he kept them all balanced. They couldn't get anything going. They couldn't run any of their offensive plays that they like to run. So he did a great job, man. I'm proud of him, super proud of him. And it's unfortunate that we couldn't get anything going on offense. So here we are. John throws the game of his life, but yet they throw the guy with the best ERA on their team, two guys back to back. Both of those guys are incredible for them, and have that Wessel was up for pitcher of the year, finished second behind R.J. Broom. I mean, he's a great pitcher, that lefty, and then the righty. We've struggled with him for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, you had the one opportunity, really only one scoring opportunity. He had the bases loaded, one out, and couldn't get the hit. And he just came in. He struggled
Yep.
when he came in, but then he just got it done there and struck out. I guess it was Alex and Jason.
And
I
Slay,
guess.
yep.
Yeah. So I mean, just great finish for him. But as I said, and congratulations to Central. I mean,
That's right.
Obviously they are.
They did what it took to win. We didn't, and they have done that all year here lately. They have played about as clean a game as you can play, and they've thrown a lot of strikes and not put us on the bases for free. And then we've just struggled to get the big hits. We haven't got big hits, and the last 2 times we played them, we've had traffic, we've had opportunities, and we haven't moved the ball when it's time to move the ball.
Coach, so let's move on to the region tournament and explain it. I know the last time we went was 2011, and way back then it was a single elimination game.
Yep.
We lost to Maryville. We went like 4 times in the 2000s. I think the first one being in 2000. We've been to the region tournament. Haven't had a whole lot of success there. Haven't won the region since 1993. It's been a long time. But how does the format work? You'll play either at Farragut or at Hardin Valley. Farragut won the first game. They needed to beat Hardin Valley twice tonight. They were up 1-0. I haven't looked at the scores recently. Talk
So
about
it's
the
a
format.
it's a 4-team tournament, and it's a double elimination tournament. And you play on the road on Friday night to the 1 seed from the other district. Same thing as whoever is the 2 will have to travel to play Central at their home park. And then after that, the winners will play each other on Saturday, and the losers will play each other on Saturday. So it's a 4-team double elimination. If you win 2 in any combination, the first one, lose 1, and then win another one, you're in. If you win 2 in a row, or if you lose and then win 2 in a row. So any combination of 2 wins with 4 teams, you're in the sub-state or the sectional, which would then be followed up the next Thursday and Friday of the next week.
Looking at the score here into the 5th inning, Hardin Valley's on top of Farragut 7-2. So all Hardin Valley had to do was win one ball game.
That's right.
So if Hardin Valley holds on and wins, you would play them.
Yeah, correct.
At
We would play at
Hardin
Hardin Valley on Friday night. Yeah, that's where we would go, and then Central would have Farragut at their place on Friday night as well.
What time would that be?
The coach, we won't talk to each other until tomorrow. They set the time, whatever time they want it to be. So it could be anywhere between 6 and 7. I won't know until those scores are final, and then I'll reach out to either coach tomorrow and kind of find out the game times they want to do on Friday.
Today is just, I guess, Monday, so I would assume both Mikey and Tyler would be available, or how does that work?
They'll both be available. Tyler will be available on Friday. Mikey will throw the game on Saturday is the way that we'll approach it right now, with Jacob bridging the gap in the middle if we need. But right now it's slated towards Tyler's going to throw the Friday night game.
You know, this is the district championship game, but the region does start, as Coach said. Last time we went to a sub-state, I remember it was all that was single elimination stuff. I like this format of the region because you can't just throw one stud like a Delmonico, like we have seen in the past, or a Cinzel, or any of those guys, to win it. If you got one stud pitcher, now it's going to be better. It makes it kind of like the way we play our district games, where you don't have to face the number 1 guy every time.
Well, I've made it to the state tournament 3 times in my career, and all 3 times I've made it, I had the best pitcher around. So we were able to win on Monday and then turn around and win again on Friday with the same guy. So now you're going to have a staff and you're going to have a team, which bodes well for us. We'll be able to compete like that.
Coach, just your final comments about today. And I know particularly John Ulrich pitched great. I mean, you could have won, but just your final comments on today's 2 games.
Well, it's big for our city and our community. I mean, really, just think about it. We haven't been in over a decade. You said 2011. That's 12 years since we made it to a regional. Haven't won a regional since 1993. So all those things is great for what our program's doing. You know, we've taken baby steps each year. First year I got over here, we got beat 2 and out in the district tournament. The next year, we won 1 in the district tournament, then got out. Then we had COVID year, and then the next thing we're playing, like last year, we're playing in the semifinals with a chance to make it to the regional. We didn't. This year, we got in the same game again. We made it to the regional. So each year, we've made progress. We've made baby steps, and that is huge for the development and the overall, continue the upward trend of our program.
Coach, thanks a lot, and good luck this weekend.
Yeah, roll Wildcats.
Wildcats defeated tonight by the Central Bobcats. Final score of the ball game was 2-0. The Wildcats defeated by Central. But as Coach Free said, the Wildcats obviously still have life. And right now, Hardin Valley is up after 5 innings, 7-2. So right now, if things were to kind of play out that way, we would be at Hardin Valley on Friday night.
Yeah, Wildcats have some things to get done before the tournament. Losing Central tonight, it could be some tiredness. I mean, they played a 2-hour game before this, so if they're just prepared and ready to go, they should be able to do just fine.
That's kind of what Coach Free said. Joey, I don't want to keep you here. I know it's a school night for you guys, but what he basically said was he didn't really like the fact that we had to play a game of the magnitude of the PAL ball game and then turn around and play for the championship. It's just, unfortunately the weather obviously caused that, but it is a tough way. But taking nothing away from Central, they earned the win. They were almost flawless tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Defensively, offensively, they were just working. Especially in the fifth inning, they were able to get bases loaded a couple times, and they scored. So that inning, they really just kind of came out of nowhere after a little bit of a dry spell for them innings before. So good job to them tonight, and they were just able to dominate in that fifth inning and win the ball game.
Appreciate Joey and Nate for joining our broadcast today. Our next broadcast hopefully will be Friday if we can find some sponsors for the region ball games. Once again, our final score here at Bobby Hopkins Field, Central, the 2023 District 3 champions. They defeat the Wildcats 2-0. For Joey and Nate, this is David Clary saying, until next time, so long, everybody.